Hello, welcome to Surrogate Church. Today I am so excited because we are invoking the angels today. We are actually bringing angels to the stage. My guests are two of my favorite earth angels, two of my favorite angels on this planet. My surrogate Mary, who is returning after a long absence. She went on a hiatus and she's finally ready to return to the couch after some wonderful life adventures. And my darling dear Alyssa, who you are going to get to meet, who is the closest thing you will ever come to meeting a real angel in human form. Now, the beautiful thing about bringing angels is Mary Magdalene is actually known as she of 1,000 angels. She works with angels. When I was in her cave in France, it is said that she cares for all the babies that never made it to earth. And all the statues of her are her standing with angels all over her, like birds, like she is a tree and the angels are just upon her. So I have come to know the range of what angels really look like through my guidance from Mary Magdalene. I would say I'm probably of the order of more revolutionary angels, and we're the kinds who aren't so soft and feathery, but nonetheless, we are out there. And there are also those angels who come to just touch down and be of service. And you feel them. You feel it when you meet one of those earth angels in just the sparkle in their eye. And the key, their very open, empathic heart. And the ability to accept and give love is miraculous. I stand here today and I am really moved by what has been happening in our country. Just this past weekend in the sweet, lovely city of Charlottesville, we experienced what I see as an act of American terrorism, where a group of haters drove a car into a woman and killed her just because she was part of the other side, because she didn't share the beliefs that they were protesting about, because she wanted the Confederate flag to come down. Sometimes, most times, what we hate, what we rally against, what we fear most, we run the risk of becoming. And as Americans, we have held a lot of hate in our hearts. And unfortunately, we are becoming what we have hated. And hate, rage, righteous rage, a rage that says, I'm entitled to be mad. That gives me the right to kill you, to take another life. That kind of rage is never right. That kind of hate only breeds fear and terrorism. So I feel like we're really at a very important pinnacle in time where we need to start to shed the armor of hate, because it is just an armor. It's an illusion of protection. It is a banding together because we're afraid. It's banding against rather than joining. And I really believe that when the armor comes down, it is when we find our wings. When those wings of the angels that are upon all of us are able to emerge, and the power and strength that we can gain from that kind of flight is beyond anything that I think we've ever really conceived about. So in dedicating this show to angels, I dedicate it to love, a spirit of love that can be revolutionary, that can rebuke evil for what it is, but at the same time find the compassion to understand that hate is really merely a protection. And if we can get beyond and join together in our vulnerability, then there is a chance for all of us to ascend. This week is really important. We are coming up on the solar eclipse, which is a very powerful day. It is a day when the sun is covered, its ultimate darkness. It is the void. And in entering the darkness of what we saw happen in Charlottesville, entering it, it gives us a chance to shed those ways of hate, the ways of darkness, and come into the light. Because only if we shed, only if we unburden that armor, will we be able to take in more divine guidance and light and love. So I dedicate our talk today to elevating anyone who is watching and providing a space where divine insight can touch down. The piece that I'm reading today is actually called Surrogate Church. It's the piece that I wrote where the concept of a surrogate church really came into being for me. I came upon a Gospel of Philip. He writes about Mary Magdalene as being the companion of the Savior. He refers to her as the wisdom. He writes, she is called the barren. He calls her the mother of the angels. He talks about Christ loving her more than any other disciple, kissing her on the mouth. The question, why do you love her more? The answer, because she sees the light. Understanding. That is the cornerstone of love. Love thy enemy. In other words, understand your enemy. Turn the cheek of revenge. Find truth behind hatred. Understand where it comes from. Go to the source with empathy, and transformation will follow. Mary carried the wisdom of the teaching Jesus embodied. All you need is love to create transcendence. These were his words. She lived them. He loved her truth. She also embodied change. Change for the better through love of another. Hate to love, evil to good, understanding the truth, living the change, the potential of the human experience. When Mary was in darkness, Jesus saw her light. Clouded by demons, she still saw his light. She knew he could lead her out. She followed his word, she listened, she understood. His heart opened with gratitude for someone who saw him accurately, who understood his passion. Mary's mind healed, knowing that she could fully receive the gift that Jesus had to offer. Her heart healed, knowing that he could fully receive the gift she had to offer. Neither played savior to the other. They were true companions, beloved to the mystery of soul recognition. With all my heart, I believe their love is the way to sacred healing. Jesus doesn't want to be anybody's savior. He wants to be our most trusted companion on the path to God's love. Mary walked with him until the very end. Last one at the cross, first one at the tomb. Their love transcending the barriers of time and space. Life and death, she was the first he appeared to after death. She saw beyond the veil. Her wisdom was not confined to the limitations of the known. She was an open channel for the light of love. Her love allowed Christ to be seen and heard in all his glory. She brought forth his message of life everlasting. There it is, a message of hope from the barren, the mother of the angels. I think of how she came to me during the process of the surrogacy. She knows what it means to suffer the pain of being childless. I know now that she is with every woman who wants to be a mother but cannot conceive or carry or give birth to new life. She is the mystery and the miracle in the science of conception. She is birth. She is the mother of the angels, and she gave my family a beautiful dark-haired cherub to raise in a world where time is about to change again. My godchild, a light giver whose story warms the heart and honors the bonds of sisterhood. From the barren womb, a new church will be born, a surrogate church, free from the misbegotten seeds of conception that are soaked in lies and fear and money. A surrogate church, emptied of all corruption and distortion and control. A surrogate womb that refuses to have the egg fertilized by the millions of silent little sperms seeking refuge, seeking a transfer to another parish, parasitic ministers of the faith, hiding behind the myth of creation, temptation, redemption, seeking insemination in the fertile womb of forgiveness. The womb is barren. Her church will not be impregnated by the exploitation of Jesus' word. Love thy enemy, turn the other cheek. I am taught to forgive them, but I can't. They damage the children, and I don't understand why. Every good priest isn't standing up and asking the question, why did this happen? No homily is valid until this question is answered, discussed, analyzed. No singing, no celebrating. We need to be in mourning for the spiritual holocaust of our children. Understand thy enemy. Okay, good priests, if there are any of you out there, help me to understand. Help me to see the agony of the betrayal. Good priests, are you not heartbroken? Good priests, are you not enraged? The children have been sacrificed. Say something. What is it like for you to be a Catholic leader? If the answer is you carry on as if nothing ever happened, and you pray that Jesus will make all the scandals go away, then I rebuke you. If you think it is better to keep silent, to keep the people quiet, to keep the discussion closed, then I rebuke you. If you think the voice of the mother has no place in the resurrection of a faith that has been crucified by the perversions of its keepers, then I rebuke you. If you are too scared to exorcise evil that has possessed the Holy Catholic Church, then I rebuke you. if you are more attached to serving the institution, the corporate dollars, rather than the good, angry Catholics, then I rebuke you. Good priests, it is now. We need you to speak the truth. We need you to listen to the truth. We need you to take a stand for the truth. We need you to help us understand the enemy. We need you to make room at the table for the women of our faith. If you cannot rise to the occasion, then I must turn away from your impotency. Button up your raincoats. Your public display is inappropriate and embarrassing. I will say it again, loud and clear, because it gives me hope. From the barren womb, a new church will be born, a surrogate church that will serve as the vessel for the principles of love and wisdom to come together. Mary and Jesus, true companions, creating a community where the people sit together at the same table, side by side, opening their ears, their hearts to the angels who are waiting to sing again. And with hope, my ears open. A feather brushes against my cheek. I turn. My gaze shifts. My tone softens. A whisper rises on the breath of the Holy Spirit. Surprisingly, mercifully, I extend my hand. A sign of peace. I no longer see red. Bad priests who were once good tell the story of how the candle lost the flame. What happened to you? When did the wax turn to plastic? How did it become acceptable to turn the light on and off with the push of a button? We need the full story. You must expose the truth of your descent so that we can help you rise from the dead and be born again. Please, will you tell me your story? And so we arrive at the conversation when peace becomes possible, when we clearly know where our integrity stands, what we stand for, what we stand against, and make room to listen to the enemy, to understand the descent into darkness, to understand where the good went bad, so that we can change, so that we can find a way out through love. So, we are going to go to the couch with our two lovely angels and see what messages we get. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with these two beautiful angels. This is a cherub, who is a teenage cherub, and this is a goddess angel, my Alyssa, yay, and Mary. So Mary, I wore my angel outfit. What do you think?
I like the shirt,
the
but
pants?
the pants don't,
Why? They're too
You
blousy?
can't wear like a flowy shirt with flowy pants.
Is that sort of like denim on denim?
Yeah.
That's what my kids always say. Mom, denim on denim isn't the thing anymore, right,
Yes.
Alyssa? No. So I'm angel on angel. I'm overboard. But Mary, you have been away. Where have you been?
I've been at camp.
What have you been doing at camp?
Dancing.
Dancing.
Yeah.
And today we are actually going to end today's episode with a little clip from one of your camp dances.
Aww.
Because it's so beautiful. And when you
thanks.
dance, I feel like the angels are all around you. So welcome back to the couch. We have Alyssa here, who is just a multifaceted diamond. Really, so many layers of light to Alyssa. But Alyssa, you are a social worker,
Yes.
right? You have a love for angels.
Yes.
You are able to somehow incorporate that into your work. But I came to know Alyssa as a little girl. So you were friends with Emma. So I think it was like from first grade, right? You were in the same class together?
Yes. Third grade, I think. And we were in the same class, and then we were in the same class in fifth grade.
Uh-huh.
And then me and her just bonded.
So much so, these two. I just love having you in Emma's life. You're like the yin to Emma's yang. Like it's a balance. Yes.
Yes.
So tell us, what got you started and interested in angels, and why angels of, all things?
Of all things. Well, when I was younger, like a little girl, really, I was always interested in just the magical world and just something out there that's bigger than us, so the spiritual world. And I loved psychics, and I thought they were so cool. So I was always interested in it, and I always wanted to be psychic, like as a little girl. So once I started, when I was like 14 or 15, I would search to go to these psychics, and then I was so interested in it, and they would tell me, you, in fact, are intuitive. And I was like, really? I loved that. It was like a dream come true. And then Emma, as my friend, when I was 16, gave me my first angel card deck. And there's like a little instruction booklet that I read as a new spiritual learner. And I loved it. And ever since, I've just been very interested in it. And then eventually I found a few years ago that there was a center on Long Island Healing Arts Center in Huntington.
Shout out.
Yes, exactly. They do angel card classes. So you go, and there's about 7 levels, and they teach you how to use the decks, what the different decks mean, how to incorporate them in your everyday life, how to read others, and you leave with a certification of angel card reader, which I am technically an angel card reader, so I have my certification.
And did you feel like participating in the classes opened your intuition more?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
First of all, because it's the community, so it's everybody, because it's a topic that still has a little bit of stigma attached to it, so it's really hard to kind of find like your community of people who believe in this. You pass people on the street who are interested, but going to these classes, everyone's focused and they fully believe that this is possible. So to be in that energy, like of about 10 or 15 people who really believe and who believe in the magic, is really powerful. So we do meditate. We would start off with a meditation, and then we would be paired up. We would do group readings, or we'd do individual readings with each other, people you don't even know, and we would just read people. So.
Well, and it is so interesting because the intuitive arts, just like any other art form, is a practice. And we all have the capability, but some of us are called to develop it. And I think we usually know young. Like as a child, you just kind of know or have experience, but the calling and longing is there. And then being able to say, okay, like I'm willing to stand up for this.
Exactly.
And practice and open and understand my system of messages, how messages come to me. Now, Mary, I know that for you too, you are very intuitive, but you stay very shy about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How does it work for you?
I mean, I never, like, when I was, like, younger, like, I never really got, like, any messages or anything, but then as soon as, like, I turned 13, like, it started happening more.
And so how would it happen for you?
It would just, like, thoughts would just come into my head. That was pretty much it.
And then it would end up happening?
Yeah.
What you thought?
Like, sometimes I would be like, oh, that's going to happen today. I was like, it's probably not, and then it happens.
So, yeah, and that's the other thing. We tend to discount the guidance that comes through of like, where is that? I'm crazy. That's not real. But then it proves to be. Well, I'll tell you, when you were a baby, your mom had this picture of an angel, a cherub hanging on the wall, and Alyssa, Mary would look at it. This is like infancy, within your first couple of months, and just smile and coo. It was as if you recognized that angel. Like, oh, there's my friend. Hello. So I think you totally came from that world. This came to us, our little angel girl. So now, as a therapist, usually that isn't something that we have very many opportunities to bring in. I think all therapists work with their intuition, but it's very categorized. So how has your angel work sort of informed your practice? Or have there been opportunities to use it? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's very difficult because it's, you know, when you go to school for anything, it's very research-based, academic-based, and not really a lot of credibility with like our feelings, right? So it's so hard to say like, well, I feel this from this person, so it must be true, and science can't prove that really. So you're right. But when I went to school in Massachusetts, and when I was there, I had this internship to work with incarcerated men, which completely terrified me,
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest.
very scary.
And when I went there, this agency was doing Native American peace circles with incarcerated men. And I was like, what? Like, I love this, right? But so shocked that an evidence-based, outcome-based program that had a lot of credibility in Massachusetts was doing this work. So that's when I was like, okay, this is possible to be incorporated. So what would happen is they would bring out an eagle feather with some sage and burn it around in the beginning of the circle. Everyone would do a check-in and just talk about and run it like a Native American peace circle that's done, where they just all talk about their truth and what peace is to them, what violence is to them. Just this ritual they would do every day. That would be part, and it was part of their requirements in order to go back, you know, to transition into their everyday world from being incarcerated. So it was a mandate, which
And then
is a good one.
in your internship, were you able to bring any of your work?
Yes, so at my internship, I was able to bring in my cards because they were a little bit more open to it. I did read a few of the men, and surprisingly, it's interesting once you give people permission to talk about this, the stories that they bring. So a lot of the men would say, you know, Jesus came to me in jail, or an angel came to me when I was in jail, and I didn't want to tell anyone, but I feel like I can tell you. And I was like, it's your truth. He probably did come to you in jail, you know? So a lot of the clients who are struggling do use prayer and their beliefs when they're in that time. So I was able to give them readings, and they were very receptive to it. They thought it was very accurate, and they would tell me all the stories, their experiences.
And I feel like it is such an important part, and I think that our therapeutic arts are actually going to start to infuse much more of a spiritual practice, because what I found with the spiritual piece is, in the realm of spirituality, there is not judgment, there's love. There's love, and there is a narrative that goes with, even in your darkest hours, even having done the most horrible of things, there is always the opportunity to learn and to reconcile what has happened and use that to evolve towards enlightenment. Whereas in more of the traditional psychoanalytic theories, it is seen more as pathological, dysfunctional, what is, you know, sort of the problem. And they are finding, especially anyone who's had trauma, that a spiritual component ultimately really is what brings peace. So I think you're on the right track with that. It really is so true. So that was your first step into doing that at work.
Yes.
That's great.
Very scary, feeling like people would judge, or especially being an intern.
Or
like,
you'd
what is
get in
this?
trouble.
Yes, exactly. Get in trouble in the field. But I guess a lot of it is how you word it and how you can incorporate it into the healing. Because at the end of the day, the profession is about how the heck are you going to help someone?
Right.
And what does it matter what you do to get there? That's what I think.
Right. And that's part of the alignment. Like when you align with, I am a vessel to serve the greater good, to serve God's will, to bring about healing, then I think the angels of trust step forward, right? Just are like, trust the process. Don't resist it. Trust it. There will be a way to bring it.
Exactly. Right? And I think the world, based on your reading and everything before, the world is definitely in need for this sort of spiritual awakening and letting that in. So many people are afraid to let it in and are resisting it.
Well, and right. And I think that the premise of understand your enemy, right? Love thy enemy is really like just taking down those barriers and touching the softer place that people don't want to admit to. So here there are these incarcerated men who are saying, I saw Jesus. Like that's, to me, that's the doorway to enlightenment. Like, okay, you're on the path. Like you need to have room to share that.
Exactly.
You need to have room to share it. Completely. So you brought some decks with you today.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, there are so many beautiful decks here. Which is your favorite deck to work with?
Oh, so my favorite deck to work with, I would say, is I like the romance deck. It's a very popular deck.
Okay. All right, come on. Let's bring out the romance deck. Me and Mary will ask some romance questions. Bobby, you could come ask a romance question too if you'd like. Because we know Bobby's single. But first, Mary, will you find romance in 8th grade?
Oh, boy.
Go ahead, shuffle your cards. All right, you show us. How did she do it? I'm not taking control. Then Bobby's coming out here and he's picking a card too.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different ways this could happen. Usually what I do with the reading is I start off with I light a candle to bring in the light, bring in the angels.
And do you usually do white?
Yes.
Love the white light for the angels.
Exactly. Always real, authentic light, not fake light, like a fake candle.
Like I talked about in the reading.
Yes. Then also there's all different types of essential oils or sprays that one could use. So this is lavender. It's a very popular one because they say when you breathe and you take these deep breaths, you are getting closer to spirit just because you're not as resistant. So you're letting everything in, right? So essential oils could help us breathe because when we smell something nice, we just want to breathe it in, right?
Well, and lavender, this is so reminiscent of Mary Magdalene because it was all through the hills of southern France where she lived. Lavender fields beyond. So beautiful. Mary, take some. I love it. Oh, it reminds me of south of France. I miss you.
So beautiful. And then I also have my white clearing crystal here, which helps because I use the cards with a lot of different people. So I like to kind of put the crystal on each deck to kind of clear it. And also sage is used to clear energy. So I sometimes sage people before or after a reading, and I also sage my cards. So you just, you could light it and, and you see it smoking and you kind of just sage them all. And you could also sage yourself or your house. Or a room and if you get a new home. So
is this a particular type of crystal?
That is the
looks like a wand.
Yes, it is a wand. It's a clear quartz wand. Yeah, I like it because it could reach a lot of things at once. It is like a wand.
Doing your halo and your wings. Come here, cutie. Your wings. Your heart.
It's perfect. And then you charge it in the sun.
Love it.
Or I think salt water too.
Either way.
Helps.
And do you like energize your decks in any way, or is it just from using the same deck that it takes on your energy?
Yes, so when you buy a new deck, you really just sort of meditate with it and you put your energy on, but then when you read other people, how I do it is I have them put their energy on. But yes, over time when you use the decks, they become so much in the flow, like they become your tools, so they mold to you, and it works in that way. But yes, so you can, what people do they put it on their heart, or when they're done, they knock the energy out. So
that's very funny, because that's my instinct.
To just knock it out. So you can do that with all the decks. So sometimes I do that after I read someone. I just knock all of them out. I say, angels, please clear the decks of any energy so they're ready to be used again.
That's wonderful.
So you just communicate. And then there's this book, Angel Numbers. So the numbers that have to do with angels. It's a book from 1 to 999.
Oh my gosh.
So,
all right, let's pick a number.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
That's how
my
we start.
favorite number, 333. I
Very
love
powerful.
303.
very
33.
powerful number.
I love 303.
Whoops. 333.
So you are completely surrounded, protected, loved, and guided by the Ascended Masters.
Oh, I love the Ascended Masters.
So that
Thank
makes
you.
so much sense. That
Oh,
is a good
thank
prayer.
you.
What about you, Mary? Do you
Okay.
have a number from 1 to 999?
I'll just pick a random number.
Go ahead.
Okay.
423.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Trust that heaven is supporting and helping you right now.
Aww.
Okay, so you've got it. Bob, give us a number from 1 to 999.
9.
9. Bobby picks 9.
9 is your number. Okay.
Here's your message from the angel.
Oh, get to work, light worker. Now, the number 9 means that you've completed all the prerequisites to achieve your life purpose. Now stop procrastinating, as it's time to start taking action steps. Even baby steps are useful.
Well, that's big for you, Bobby, right? Because Bobby was on the show. I don't know if you saw that episode, and he's gone through quite an ordeal over the last year, and basically, completely revolutionized his life spiritually.
Wow.
So you're there, light worker. Don't be lazy.
I'm not
Get to work. You're never lazy. You work very hard.
But that
Totally.
inspires me to even go more.
A little further.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it gives you permission that it's going to be okay, I think.
Yes,
And that you're on the right path.
exactly.
100%. Okay, so romance cards. Mary, ask a
Yes.
question.
So-
Right? Does she ask a question or
Yes.
think about something?
So what you
Okay.
what you can do, or what I have everybody do, is you take the deck, so
Okay.
it's your energy now on it. You shuffle the deck
Okay.
and picture your energy going on it, whatever that looks like to you. Whether you picture, light coming from your heart going on it, or your name going on it. Everyone pictures it differently for them. And while you do this, I usually meditate on you. So I have your full name, Mary, and sometimes I could get messages that way. Very fleeting, similar to what Mary was talking about before, is I'm similar to her in that my intuition is kind of like a thought. Like I think it's just a thought, and then something will happen, and I'm like, okay, I should have paid more attention to that.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how it is. So now you could ask your angels as you're shuffling, you could ask to yourself, please give me 100% accuracy and messages that will resonate with me.
Okay.
Angels. Now, usually I have you pick a number that was in your number you picked from the book. So you picked 423, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So how about you pick 4 cards?
Okay.
And whatever cards they may be for you. Oh, heart-to-heart conversations.
Oh.
Attraction. Okay. Healing family issues.
Oh.
Oh.
And playfulness. Wow. Okay. So now, usually I give my interpretation of what I think. But when you flip the cards, and when anybody naturally flips the cards, we kind of automatically have a reflection of like, okay, how could this relate to me? Or this does relate to me.
Yes.
Or, so you have your own interpretation, and as do I. So what we do is we combine them both. So for me, heart-to-heart conversations for you, I feel like is trusting that you can be honest when romance enters into your life. It's okay to be
Yourself.
yes, exactly.
A great message.
And to speak your truth. That's how relationships thrive, is through honest communication, right?
100%.
If we're not honest, then usually a relationship goes under. So this is an important theme for you, is that when relationships enter your life, or if they are in your life already, that it's important to just be honest, and whoever your partner is for you will accept that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since you are an angel, you are someone who is very honest and needs to get to the real of people, right? You don't want any
fake.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Playfulness, so to recapture your romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So playfulness for you is like, that is what makes a relationship joyful, right? Is the playfulness part. And to kind of, again, be okay with being yourself, not fearing that you're going to be judged, right? Or insecure. It's really just like, this is who I am. I'm quirky sometimes, or I'm not. So it's being playful, having that spirit part. Attraction. Now I feel like this is about your opinion of romance right now. So are you interested in having a romance?
Not really yet, I don't think.
Okay, so you are you open to it? It sounds like you may not be right now.
No, I guess like when I get older, like not yet.
Exactly. It could be.
Well, I
I
think
don't
that
blame
brings
you.
us back to the family healing, because in the Italian family, no boyfriend until you're
Exactly.
16 years old or something like that. The rules, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there are a
Right?
lot of
You're an Italian family too. You know that,
no
girls.
kissing
And-
until you're 30. That's what I was told.
right. Forget it. A lot of
Yes.
things you don't do.
Exactly. So, like, in order for us to have a romance is for us to be open to it, of course, and to want to attract it, just like any manifestation.
Yeah.
Now, the healing family issues, yes, is we are carved, I feel, from our family conditions. What we see at home or what we see in our family system really shapes our beliefs about, like, the love that we deserve and the love that we will have. And
True.
you have to know that you are separate from your family, you are separate from your parents, and you are separate from your history. That you can redefine what love is for you.
Oh.
Love that. Now, I could see this so much as a springboard for going deeper
Yes.
and just the heart-to-heart between the reader and the one who's being read around just exactly what you were saying, how this really personalizes just...
Yes. So a reading can get very deep and very, it could really touch people, you know. It's not every day that people really, like, do the self-reflection practice.
Yes.
So that's what I feel like the cards really are, is just, like, taking time to be with yourself and really looking at, like, how could this apply to me?
And for
Or
it
what
to
are
be...
the angels saying?
to be in a dialogue about it, because there are many times that people have not the greatest experiences with psychics because
Yes.
they're very definitive and say this is going to happen. It then plants a seed that can be negative or scary, and then it starts to become self-fulfilling. So to sort of have the empathic approach, which is really understanding the feeling of the person that you're with, I think, sort of guides how far you go. And you know what? Like, the truth is, none of us know for sure. It's just sort of like this snapshot of, oh, this is what the angels are showing us at this moment.
Exactly.
Right? Very interesting.
And a reflection of your intentions, I feel. So it's like when you see these cards, Mary, so this is the second part, is we would have the person being read kind of listen to what I said, or kind of like whether they share first or I just shared first here on this, but if she were to have a strong reaction to any of these cards. So did you find like any of these cards stood out? Even the pictures that are on the cards give you a little bit of a reaction?
I guess like this one, because I'm always like thinking of like what people like think of me. So I guess it's just like better that I just like be myself.
So the playfulness one.
Yeah.
Not to take things so seriously.
Yeah.
Worry so much. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's, oh my gosh, I could so hear your angels saying that to you. Girl, lighten up so you could fly. You're grounding yourself with all those worries, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And even like a relationship should be an enhancement. It shouldn't be a worry or a stress. It should be like a bonus in your life, I feel. So it should be so playful
It
and
should
positive.
lift you.
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
So, anything else here that stands out for you, or did you have any questions? So then another part is if you had a specific question. So sometimes people who are single, this is popular for them, but it's also popular for people who are with a partner. And they're like, well, you know, I don't like when my partner does this, or, you know, maybe you can give me some guidance on if they're the one for me, you know. So you can ask a specific question, and then you can do it however you want. Angels, please give me one card, because people just like it to be brief and concise, or people like to pick like 20 cards. So it's like actually opening people up to what their guidance is telling them. So it's not making the assumption that you know better than they do. Exactly.
I like that. It's very empowering.
Exactly. A lot of it is like my intuition with them, but if they may feel like, I feel like it's this, then I say, your intuition's powerful.
Right. Right. Trust it. Stay with it.
Yeah, so some people could ask a specific question and then they flip one and then they get whatever they get. So,
Right.
Marianne, did you want to flip one?
Sure. I'll flip one.
Okay.
All I've got is one question. Will there be love after marriage?
Oh. So,
Will I
yeah,
ever
very-
find true reciprocal love? That's good. That's a good question.
That is a really good question. So,
Because no way do I want to fall in love and not have the person be in love with me. That's probably the worst pain, unrequited love.
yes.
Isn't it? Oh my God, no. So angels, will I ever find reciprocal, soul enhancing enlightenment through love?
Oh, everybody deserves that. So, Mary, what I'm going to have you do is just knock the cards
Okay.
and say, please clear the cards of my energy.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
say, got
Please
it?
clear.
Please clear the cards of my energy.
Okay. So now, Marianne, now sometimes you could sage them, but now, Marianne,
I'll
you
just
can
go.
put your energy on. And
Okay.
ask your lovely question.
All right, angels, you heard that big long thing I was asking about, which really just want one simple answer. And the answer is, my darlings, just pick anyone.
If there's one that stands out to you.
The answer is
Oh, let your friends help you.
Oh.
introductions! Introduce me. I'm willing to go on dates because I will never go on an app. I just can't do it. It's beyond my generation. So ask for and accept the support from others. I like that.
Yeah, so if someone comes
All right,
around.
friends, if you know of anyone that might be a match, I'm willing to go on a dinner date.
Exactly. Or if someone says, you know, Marianne, I have someone for you, and you're kind of like,
no, I don't want to. Nope, I'm going to say yes.
Exactly. Receive.
Just say yes. Perfect. Good. Bobby, you want to pick a love card?
Sure.
Knock myself out of this deck. Goodbye, dear angels. And pass it on to Bobby. I'm going to move over. Oh. You asked your question?
Take it out? No.
Ask the question to yourself
Let
in
me
your
have-
deck. You don't have to say it out loud.
Okay. You repeat it then.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. My question is, actually, it's kind of like Marianne's. Is I know I will, but when will I finally meet that girl? You know, true love. You know, forever. No ifs, ands, or buts. Reciprocating love, and When will she come?
When will she come?
When will
True,
she come?
reciprocal,
I've been waiting a long
love
time.
of his life, who can give as much as he gives.
I have a feeling she's on
And
her way.
receive as much
I've
as
been
he gives.
sensing that.
So that's what you have to trust. Do you believe in angels?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to give you this,
Okay.
so you could talk directly to Alyssa. I
There
don't
we
have
The
I'll
translator.
shut up.
No, that's okay.
I do believe in angels.
You
Absolutely,
do.
yes.
Okay, so call upon them and ask. Say, please, when is she coming? And you feel like she's. So trust that, and also like trust the signs that are that come your way. If people say I have someone, or if you ever feel like you want to go to a certain coffee shop or go to a certain place, that you may run into this person. Like the way that we meet people that we're supposed to be with is so like we can't imagine it. It's kind of like
We may miss them
yes.
if we don't show up.
Exactly. And it's created by the universe. It's like we can't even imagine how we meet people, right? How we make connections. It's crazy. So why don't you shuffle the cards a little bit and call upon those angels you believe in, whatever they may look like to you, and ask your question and then pick your card.
Okay. So, angels, where and when is she coming to me?
Okay.
Let's get some guidance.
Okay.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Okay, you could flip it.
Okay.
Oh, getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So this card, I feel like...
It sounds to me like she's already here
In the
somewhere.
picture.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Is that the process of getting to that level of true love that you're looking for has a lot to do with just that, a process that you have to get to know the full person that she is. So maybe if she is coming in your life, or she is around soon, or she's already in your life, to make that part really stand out, like the beginning stage, which is something we usually rush through in
Yes.
relationships, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's really important as we get to know the whole person. And that, I think for you, when you do find your true love, that will be a very important piece of it.
It is, because I've learned from past experiences. So it is the most important thing to really get to know that person as a friend first. You know, and even sex always gets pushed too quick, and then you really need to develop that friendship 100% first, because that other stuff just clouds everything. So you really need to fall in love with the person before anything else. So and that's one thing that I'm totally fine with now. You know, where usually, you know, you're trying to, you know, but now that's like the last thing on my mind. The first thing is really getting to know that person. So that totally makes sense to me at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of like the groups that you bring together for music.
Yeah.
It feels like just like it's in a group setting,
Yes.
and then it's going to sort of rise out of that.
Yeah, I feel it's weird, because that's what I kind of felt like. I kind of stopped looking for it.
Good.
And I said to myself, you know what, I'm just going to let God bring her to me. I am not going to push it. I'm not going to go searching. And that's what over the past, it's weird, last week I kind of felt that. I got that feeling, because I've been getting very busy. A lot of people have been coming into my path. And I started to sense, you know what, I think she's going to be coming in very soon.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that last week. That hit me. Actually, like Friday, last Saturday, that's when I felt that out of nowhere. I got this sense that, you know what, she's on her way. I felt it.
So that's real.
Yeah, that's totally everything that we just spoke about. Definitely feels right.
The not forcing,
Yes,
just allowing.
No.
absolutely.
And also with the solar eclipse and the retrograde that's happening in the stars and the planets. Yeah, it is a big time for new beginnings.
Yeah,
Yes.
And like what you said, shedding your old ways of romance and
Yes.
allowing a new way in.
yes, yes. And
So.
me and Marianne talked about that the last time, that in the past year, I'm not the same person I was a year ago. So it's almost like I needed to, get to where I needed to be spiritually to prepare me for that person, not necessarily get somebody made for me. I needed to bring myself up so I could be.
Come on, that's nice, right? Like, because we're always seeking the other versus, wait, what do I need to do to prepare to receive?
It's not about, okay, where's the girl that's made for me? Now I feel that I needed to be brought up to prepare myself to be the person for that girl, and I wasn't there a year ago. So
and I mean, I say this all the time with people who meet love later in their life, like 50, 60, 70 years old. It's that maybe when you guys were 16, you weren't, you wouldn't have found each other attractive at that time. Or you wouldn't have learned all your lessons you needed to learn to be your highest selves, to be together. So you are out working, you're still cooking, she's still cooking, and when you're done, you come together. That's what I always say. Food reference.
You're perfectly baked.
Yes.
Apple pie.
well, my thermometer has popped. I'm
You're
ready.
a turkey.
You're done cooking. You're ready.
I'm done. I'm ready.
Get to work, light worker.
I know.
Yeah, definitely connected with your number.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so great. So listen, we're coming to the end, but what I was thinking, because we started with this talk about just our current state of affairs, I know one of your decks is a healing deck. Maybe we can pull a card each for the healing of the planet right now.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Right? Like really invoke our beautiful angels to help guide us in maybe what each of us need to do our part to bring peace, to bring healing, to begin to help take off those armors of hate, to see the vulnerability that's underneath and find the human connection in being together at this point in time. So, where is your healing deck? I'll knock that out.
Right now, this is the first deck I ever received, Healing with the Angels. So it's a very experienced deck.
And that's the one Emma gave you.
Yes.
Oh, so we bring Emma, who's such a girl for social change.
Exactly.
Right, Mare?
She is.
So we are going to spray our crown chakra because we really want to call in the help to just invoke a healing on this planet. I do believe that each one of us is star-seeded with a way to bring healing, peace, and love and light to the planet. We forget, and a big part of life is sort of remembering. Oh, this is the way. And when we do remember, it is like that little light that goes off in your head that says, maybe this is more than a thought. Maybe I need to pay attention to it. So that is my prayer as we come to this deck. Angels, if you can guide us as clearly as possible, as specifically as possible, as to how each of us can bring a healing at this particular time as we approach the solar eclipse, shedding the old way and bringing our more advanced messages for healing and light. Okay, so this is our deck, and then we can reveal them. Bobby, I think you should pick one too, since you were part of this, and you are a light worker, which means you're a healer. Each of our ways to heal. That's mine. Bobby's?
You're supposed to knock?
Just it clears your energy and passes it to Alyssa. Oh, come here. Okay. We need as much healing as possible, right? Okay. All right, Alyssa. So should we all turn them over at the same time?
Yeah.
And kind of look at them privately?
Okay.
Oh, privately.
Let's see what the message is.
Let's see what the message is. So, What did everybody get?
Okay, go ahead, Bobby, you start.
Retreat.
The
Retreat.
angel of retreat. I have the angel of study.
Oh, wow.
Interesting, right?
Yes, I have Archangel Michael, who's
Oh
very
my
powerful.
gosh,
Wow.
super powerful
I have
and casting
freedom.
out evil and freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
now how does this translate to what we each believe the world needs and what we can bring? So
Yeah.
how is it personally translated for you, Bobby, the idea of retreat? And then maybe Alyssa, we can get your take on it too.
I would say retreat kind of makes me feel like finally being able to enjoy, just kind of get to that place where I'm ultimately happy. Not necessarily retreating and getting away from everything, but getting to the place where I'm finally at peace and I'm finally happy.
And if you're at peace, it starts with us individually, then the world becomes at peace. What it reminded me for you was, I think here at Paradise Studios, you are really creating a retreat where people can step out of everyday life and sort of bring a side to themselves, to life, that they don't usually get a chance to do. And that side is usually the best side of them, whether it's a musician or someone like me who's a poet, or Alyssa who has her angels with her. So I think you provide space for people to show up in a more enlightened way.
I agree with
Oh
you.
my God, that's nice.
I do agree with you.
That will heal the world.
I've heard that because people have told me they come here and they feel so at peace, the energy, the vibe, and it is. I actually did create that little bit of a retreat for a lot of people, not just myself.
No, totally. I so experienced it. So I have studied, which what I think this is I've studied a lot in my life, right? It's not like I haven't had good higher education, but I think this speaks to another kind of study, which is this study of life that I've been participating in since I was born. And it's much more like part of mystery school. And I feel like it's time to bring forth my sense of knowing about the more mystical things, because and the picture here has the rainbow, which is so much the uniter of all the colors, right? Really bringing
That's you.
together in the best light, people in their best light. So that will be my commitment, to not play dumb, to kind of move forward with what I know, share that, and hopefully celebrate every color on the rainbow.
And share your wisdom, your intelligence. Yes, so Archangel Michael, which is a very powerful angel, he definitely does ward off negativity. And also he's the angel of courage. And that's definitely a theme for me, is to have courage in the work that I do, and confidence. So knowing that it can touch people, and hope that, similar to Bobby creating his passion, which in return helps others, that's exactly what I need to have confidence in doing, I think, because there's still a part of me that's a little scared. So it's calling on Archangel Michael to give me that bravery that he does. And also just call upon him in general in the world.
Well, and
His
also to give your clients the courage to be more vulnerable, to show their softer side, because you work with hardcore prisoners, people who are in recovery, people who have really gotten so beaten up by life that they have to have their armors on.
Yeah.
And it is so scary to expose. It's like the dog rolling over and showing a belly. Like, I'm not doing that. But I feel like you really bring that because of your gentleness. But behind you stands Archangel Michael, which is like, nope, I'm gentle, but I will hold you and protect you in this space.
Exactly.
So powerful.
You're right.
That's your healing for the world. And our little cherub, what do you bring?
Freedom.
Freedom! The next generation. You represent youth, right? So what do you think that card means for the world?
I think it's like the other card that I got about like being like playful. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's like related to that. Like I just have to like be myself, and then everyone else will like follow me.
100%. And also this idea of like freeing. You are the generation that is going to really free us from those old concepts. Like you don't have to live with hate. You don't have to live with division. You don't have to live with a certain body image. Like you can break through things that made people feel oppressed. And that's the freedom of youth right now, is you hold that. That is, these are very powerful. So I'm going to make the charge. Everyone, in whatever way, if you have a deck or you just take some time to meditate and really ask the question, what is one way that I, right now, am bringing healing to the world? And it can be as simply as taking care of yourself so you can be kinder on the road and not want to drive your car into someone else's car. Or it can be something that's a stronger charge that calls you to do something more. Pick a card, look for the signs. Like you said, Alyssa, sometimes they come in fortune cookies, sometimes they come just by a sign on the side of the road, sometimes they come at a feather at your feet. Look for the signs, and let's make it our mission to bring this kind of light to the planet right now, because I feel like we're in desperate need of it. And if we don't, there's a chance we may remain in darkness for a long time. So, thank you for bringing your light. Thank you, my little darling. And Bobby, thank you for being back on the couch. You actually, people have been asking me to have you back because they loved your Blessed Mother piece. And so we got him back, ladies and gentlemen, my two returning guest stars. Until next time, be well. May angels walk with you. And may you just feel that feather touch the side of your cheek and know that you are loved. Thank you.